At 60, Johnny Carson revealed the 9 worst nymphos among his Golden Age guests. You won't believe number 4. They didn't just shock audiences, they shocked Johnny Carson himself. Behind that cool, collected smirk and legendary wit, Johnny had seen it all, or so he thought. But even the king of late night was left speechless when certain Golden Age actresses turned his studio into their personal playground. Off camera, Johnny wasn't just America's favorite host, he was the vault of Hollywood's dirtiest secrets. Tonight, here at Prestige Buzz, we're cracking that vault wide open. These weren't your typical glamorous guests. They flirted shamelessly, bragged about their conquests, and left producers sweating bullets during commercial breaks. Carson once joked, "Some of my guests didn't need cue cards, they needed cold showers." From eyebrow-raising whispers backstage to on-air double entendres that made censors panic, these 9 women dominated the room. According to Johnny, their appetite for attention was matched only by their appetite for pleasure. Before we dive into the scandals, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Prestige Buzz, and hit that bell notification so you never miss a deep dive into the hidden lives of the stars. Now, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from, and which diva do you think tops Johnny's wildest list? Number 1. Mae West, the original provocateur. Before Marilyn purred and before Madonna shocked, Mae West had already rewritten the rulebook on sexual power. She didn't just play the vamp, she invented it. Appearing on The Tonight Show in her 70s, her reputation still walked 3 steps ahead of her. Carson, a seasoned pro, was visibly rattled by her unapologetic flirtation. When he asked a tame question about aging, Mae leaned in and fired back, "I'm as young as the man I feel, Johnny." Off-screen, Mae auditioned younger lovers privately and lived by her creed, "Too much of a good thing can be wonderful." Johnny reportedly felt like he was the one being interviewed, overwhelmed by her sheer, predatory confidence. Number 2. Ava Gardner, Hollywood's untamed siren. When Ava Gardner stepped onto the stage, Johnny got a velvet hurricane soaked in whiskey and laced with danger. Ava was a woman who devoured life, leaving a trail of scorched hearts from Frank Sinatra to Spanish bullfighters. When Carson tried to probe into her wild reputation, Ava simply drawled, "Honey, I did everything they said I did, and more." She never apologized for her lust or her temper. Carson later admitted she didn't just flirt, she dared you to keep up. She was the last real femme fatale, a woman no man could ever truly claim. Number 3. Zsa Zsa Gabor, the queen of chaotic glamour. Zsa Zsa sauntered into the studio in a cloud of diamonds and unapologetic carnality. She didn't just flirt, she weaponized it. When Carson jokingly asked how many husbands she'd had, she famously replied, "Darling, you mean mine or other women's?" With 9 marriages and a list of lovers featuring princes and tycoons, her sexuality was her greatest tool. She didn't care for decorum or ladylike behavior. Johnny confessed that few guests could throw him off balance like Zsa Zsa, who came to dominate the energy of the room from the moment her heels hit the floor. Number 4. Marilyn Monroe, the seduction that silenced the room. When Marilyn appeared, the air in the studio grew thick. Even the master of late-night cool found himself stumbling over his words. Marilyn didn't need to say anything risque, her mere presence was a magnetic charge. Crew members recalled how a single glance from her could make grown men forget their jobs. Behind the breathy whispers was a woman who used her sexual power as both a gift and a shield. Her list of lovers read like a power index: JFK, Sinatra, Brando. Carson admitted she made him genuinely nervous because you never knew what she might do next. She was a woman seeking validation through a lens of pure, unadulterated sensuality. Number 5. Joan Collins, the British bombshell. Joan Collins didn't just enter a room, she took command. Armed with wit as sharp as her wardrobe was tight, she tossed back Carson's innuendos like cocktails. She owned her status as a sex symbol, turning every interview into performance art. Off-screen, her reputation was even more formidable. With 5 marriages and countless affairs, she thrived in romantic chaos. One backstage staffer recalled Joan whispering something in his ear during rehearsal that left him speechless for hours. As they say in Hollywood, if Joan looks your way, say your prayers. Number 6. Tallulah Bankhead, the unpredictable force. Tallulah Bankhead was a live wire with a complete disregard for etiquette. She once told Johnny, "I haven't had this much fun since Prohibition," before blowing a kiss to the crowd. Tallulah was an open book written in scandalous ink. She openly bragged about her affairs with both men and women, famously stating her only regret was not having more. She broke every rule, once reportedly lighting a cigarette mid-interview just because she felt like it. Carson adored her for it, admitting she was the only guest who ever made him blush twice in 5 minutes. Number 7. Jayne Mansfield, the strategic seductress. Jayne Mansfield was a walking scandal wrapped in pink satin. She didn't just sit, she posed. She didn't just talk, she pouted. With a 40-21-35 figure, she knew exactly how to melt microphones. Rumors of her nymphomaniac reputation were fueled by her own actions, showing up to parties in nothing but fur and leaning so far forward on air that censors nearly cut the feed. Carson once paused mid-sentence, staring at her, and admitted, "I forgot what I was going to say." She blurred the line between performance and provocation, relishing the shock factor of her own existence. Number 8. Mamie Van Doren, the blonde rebel. While Marilyn played the sweetheart, Mamie was all fire and flesh. She didn't tiptoe around taboos, she laughed in their face. Mamie's reputation for being insatiable was part of her brand. In her memoir, Playing the Field, she detailed affairs with Elvis Presley, Steve McQueen, and even hinted at a tryst with Johnny himself. Though NBC denied it, the tension on screen was undeniable. She delivered lines dripping with innuendo, turning talk show interviews into late-night electricity that the censors could barely contain. Number 9. Eartha Kitt, the panther of provocation. Eartha Kitt didn't just walk, she prowled. With her feline voice and hypnotic stare, she brought a brand of sensuality that was equal parts elegance and psychological warfare. Carson once compared interviewing her to trying to outcharm a panther. Long before the sexual revolution, Eartha lived it. She chose lovers for pleasure, not permanence, stating, "I fall in love with personalities, not people." She was dominant and direct, flipping the script on the submissive siren trope. Her presence made men sweat and women cheer, leaving the usually quick-witted Carson frequently speechless. These weren't just starlets, they were fireworks in heels. For Johnny Carson, wrangling these powerful, unapologetically sexual women was the highlight of his career. They redefined what it meant to be too much in an era that expected them to be silent. These interviews are now time capsules of a shifting Hollywood where the most daring voices refuse to be censored. Which of these legends do you think was the most fearless? Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you in the next episode, where the past always misbehaves.